Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Shred Show Live. I am your host, Josh Pitts, and I am joined by an incredibly special guest. Shelley Leonard of Black Knight is joining me, and ladies and gentlemen, we're having a conversation that you do not want to miss out on. We're talking about the digital mortgage experience, the innovation, the revolution that is happening in our industry. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you what, this is something that is absolutely going to blow your mind. You are not going to want to miss this volume. Crank it up, share it out, because we're about to shred. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Shred Show. I am joined by Shelley Leonard of Black Knight. I am so excited. If you do not know Shelley, you're about to get to know her and Black Knight in a very special way. Ladies and gentlemen, Shelley was actually named one of the most influential women in the entire mortgage industry, and I am honored to have her join me on the show this morning. She is a pioneer. She is an innovator within our industry. Shelley, welcome to the Shred Show, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much, Josh. I'm super pumped to be here. So really excited to get this going.
I am super pumped too. You and I were just having Twitch conversations before, which got me even more excited, which we are streaming live right now. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're joining us from Facebook, if you're joining us from LinkedIn, YouTube, or Twitch, welcome to the show. Make sure you comment hashtag shred right now, because that means you're live. You're shredding with Shelley and I. And if you're joining us on the replay, comment hashtag hustle, because that means you're out there, you're getting it done, you're hustling, that you're coming back right here to get what you need within your business. So Shelley, let's dive into this conversation before we go into the whole, digital mortgage revolution and innovation that's happening within our industry. Let's get to know Shelley a little bit, because Shelley, you have an incredible background in our industry. As I mentioned, you were named one of the most influential women in the industry, but tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So really excited to be here. Again, I am passionate about mortgage and passionate about technology. And those are the two things that again make me really excited to be here on Shred, is to share that passion with you guys. And again, Josh said we were talking about Twitch earlier. We were talking about my son. And again, when people say, what do you want to do in the mortgage industry? Like, what legacy do you want to leave? I want to make my kids want to be in the mortgage industry, right?
Yes.
Which, again, they're like, oh, mom, why would I ever want to do that? Like, seriously? Who wants to be in the mortgage industry? What even is the mortgage industry? And are y'all digital? And again, so my goal is to make our technology so cool that people are like, yeah, I'm in the mortgage industry and I'm on Twitch, right? I do all those things. So it's something that I've been in my entire career on the technology side of the business. Started in banking technology and then moved over into mortgage about 20 years ago, and have been focused on how do we make mortgage cool, right? So that's the easiest way to think about it, right? Because it's not your grandpa's mortgage industry anymore. Sorry, all you grandpas. It's not offensive.
No offense.
Just saying, mortgage is critical, right? It's critical to our economy. It's critical to our company. It's critical to people, right? And that's what we have to remember in mortgage. We're about the people. We're about homeowners. Think about how excited you were the first time you bought your first home, right? It means so much to you. And guess what we get to do every day? We get to help people achieve home ownership. It's cool, right? So how can we do it better with technology? How can we make it easier? How can we make it fun? How can we make it something that people don't dread, right? I've heard people say getting a mortgage is like getting a root canal. Well, nobody wants to get a root canal, but you do want to get a mortgage, right? So how do we do that? You know how we do that? Technology. That's how you do it.
Oh my God, Shelley, this has got me even more excited, because this is just it. This is the conversations we've been having and we keep talking about, is because right now more than ever, the mortgage industry, I want to say it's almost under attack, because, 2008, 2009, during the whole crash, we were blamed for so much, but now more than ever, trying to make the industry cool, like trying to bring attention to it in the right ways to get people about that journey of homeownership. Again, we have the opportunity to help people achieve that dream, that American dream that we talk about of home ownership, but making sure that experience is not only simple, it's easy, it's more innovative, it's more digital solution. And that's exactly what Black Knight is doing. That's what Black Knight is so focused on as a whole. which that's where I want to kind of take this next. For those who don't know who Black Knight is, because Black Knight is this, there's so many pieces to Black Knight, but for those listening, for those tuning in, who is Black Knight and what do you guys do?
Right. So great question. First of all, we have the coolest name in the mortgage fintech space. Just saying, Black Knight. Who doesn't want to be a knight?
Right.
So that's pretty cool. And we do everything mortgage. So again, we think about some technology companies that are very broad, right? Our focus is about real estate technology. It's about mortgage technology from origination through servicing, default, and even into the secondary market technology space with one of our recent acquisitions of Optimal Blue. So we're all about mortgage. That's our singular focus, right? And we're all about technology. And how do we bring that technology to our customers, whether that's banks or non-banks or mortgage brokers, everyone in this disparate set of players in the mortgage space, we want to bring together via technology. So we do a little bit of a lot of different things, but if you think about the Black Knight ecosystem, that's what it's about. It's about an ecosystem. It's about joining together all the players so that we can facilitate seamless transactions, so that we can make it easier, not just for consumers to get a mortgage, but for us mortgage professionals to provide mortgages, right? Because again, it's two sides of the same coin, right? Consumer experience, user experience in the back office. We want to make technology easy for loan officers, right? How do we do that? How do we make them want to interact with the system? Well, you do that by having a great user experience and focusing on design thinking and thinking about things outside of the box instead of thinking about things the way we've always thought about things. So we're about transformation in the industry, which is where digital comes into play.
Oh, I love this outside the box thinking because, and again, you mentioned grandpas, and we don't mean no offense here, but sometimes in the mortgage industry, this industry has been so slow to evolve. The last few years, in my experience, being in it as long as you and I have, we've seen things change, especially the last, 2020, especially COVID. COVID did some cool things, honestly, for the industry. Again, respectful to, those who were affected by it, but technology-wise, it really led to some innovation, which is exciting, which we're going to get to here in just a second. But really, I love this outside the box thinking. And that's what Black Knight is all about. Like you said, all the companies that are under this umbrella of Black Knight, the technology pieces that all come to play, the collaborations, the opportunities that we have to work together and strengthen each other through this user interface. I love that you mentioned too, that you have loan officers, you have the originators of our industry who are helping the consumers. We have to find the pieces that all bring that together, that again, the originators can have a seamless experience, which ultimately goes down to the consumer, helping them have that seamless experience, have an enjoyable experience, because you and I have heard those horror stories when somebody goes to buy a home where it's, oh my gosh, it was such a difficult process, or it was such, it was confusing. I didn't know how to do this, or, this wasn't explained, or I didn't. So now more than ever, we as an industry have the opportunity to really, again, step up, to innovate, to bring these new ideas, the outside the box thinking that you're talking about, Shelley, and really not just talk about them as ideas, but making them come to fruition. Exactly. Come to fruition, like they're actually happening now. So with that, you mentioned it, this term, this idea of mortgage or the digital mortgage experience. When we say digital mortgage, is it truly, can we do a mortgage from start to finish? Is it all digital these days? What the heck is digital mortgage even mean?
So I think that's a great question. So, and again, I think it's limited our thinking in the past, right? So I'm about broadening the meaning of digital mortgage, right? Because I think historically when we talk about digital mortgage, we think about an e-mortgage or an e-note or something that has to go electronic from start all the way through to fruition, right? And there's only a small population of mortgages that actually do that. But that doesn't mean we don't have digital mortgage, right? Digital mortgage is about so many other things, right? It's about how do we leverage data differently than we ever have, right? Think about, again, the pain of getting a mortgage. It's because of the documents, and it's very document heavy. Why is that? Well, because we need a document to bind the transaction. Okay, that's true. We do need a document at the end. But before that, there's so many different things you can do digitally. We can get access to your payroll, right? To get your data out of that, right? Do I need you to submit a pay stub? Not really, right? You can give me access to your payroll provider and I can get that access. I can get access to your bank account. Do I need you to really provide me 3 bank statements in subsequent months, blah, blah, blah? No, not really, right? I can get access to that data. I need the information because the information is what is important. But it's about how do we get better access to that data? And then how do we deliver that data to the right people at the right time during the process while being transparent with the consumer and educating the consumer along the way? That's the biggest part about it because, again, mortgage is complicated. It is, right? And there are good reasons why it's complicated. It's a big investment from a consumer perspective. You're committing to a 30-year or a 15-year loan commitment for, $100,000, $250,000 or more. That's a big commitment from a financial perspective. Typically the largest investment you're going to make, right? So we have to make sure we do that with care, right? And that we have the consumer placed first in line to make sure it's the right product for the consumer. It's the right home for the consumer, right? And that they're going to be able to be successful in their home ownership journey. That's really what it's about. So that means we have to rethink our processes and we have to rethink then, how are we providing that transparency to the consumer? How do they do it historically? They pick up the phone, they call and say, where are we? I haven't heard from you. I'm getting nervous, right? Am I going to close? I've got a mover scheduled, right? It's a stressful time in their lives. It's our job as technology providers in this industry to help remove some of that stress, right? Think about how Waze helps your commute. When we used to commute, we're working from home now, so not so important, but I did commute to the office the other day and I forgot how painful it is.
You actually had to get in your car and go somewhere, Shelley?
I did.
What?
I did. I had to remember how to get there, first of all, but then I put on Waze and it helped me along the way, right? Because it tells me, hey, watch out for this over here. Oh, and by the way, you need a coffee, right? So you better stop at Dunkin' Donuts and get a coffee over here, right? And it helps me navigate the changing environment of the roads that I typically would travel every day. That's what we should be doing for consumers, right? Think about the things that Uber did to change the industry as far as getting transportation. You have this little app and you know exactly where that Uber driver is. And maybe they're circling the block. Let's text them and tell them where I am, right? How to find me. That's how we should think about a mortgage. It shouldn't be calling. It shouldn't be emailing. Heck, it shouldn't be faxing documents, but we do still do that, right? So we have to think about how do we remove all of those friction points in the process, right? So that we can make it streamlined. And when I say streamlined, I don't mean remove humans. Humans are important, right?
Big time.
Humans are really important. But let's focus the humans on the high value activities like talking to your borrower, helping your borrower understand a mortgage and what's the right mortgage for them and the right time for them. What do they need to do to save, to prepare for a mortgage, right? Then once they get the home, right, we don't want the experience to fall off into a abyss. We've got to continue that digital experience because guess what? That customer may come back. Maybe the rate environment changes and they want to refinance. How do we keep them in our ecosystem and keep them digitally engaged with us? That's the key here. It's about engagement of that consumer. And what we're trying to do at Black Knight is, from a digital perspective, move that engagement as far up into the home buying process as we can. So we actually have systems that help realtors communicate digitally, realtors and brokers communicate digitally with home buyers. So why can't we put the loan officer in that conversation and the title agent in that conversation and have a collaboration conversation between all the parties versus having these handoffs that are messy, that sometimes don't always work.
They get dropped sometimes.
They get dropped or they get confused or miscommunicated, right? How can we eliminate that? Again, technology. And that's where digital comes into play. And again, it's not, the e-mortgage is great. Getting an e-note, that's great. I'm all for it. I think we should be adopting e-mortgages and e-notes and everything should be electronic, but it's not always possible.
No.
Maybe people aren't ready for that. Maybe I'm not comfortable with that. Maybe I want to see the piece of paper and I want to sign it. Great. So we have a hybrid signing capability where you can see it electronically beforehand, make sure it's everything you're expecting, review the document, and then you want to come in and talk to somebody and sign it because that's a big deal and you want to shake someone's hand and get your keys, right? Awesome. We can do that. It's hybrid. We don't have to be all one thing, right? We need to have flexibility.
Yeah, exactly. Back to the days of shaking hands, Shelley. Wait, can we do that anymore? Like, imagine that.
We're still elbow.
We're still elbow bumping. So Mike Eshelman makes a really great comment. Technology is the engine and data is the fuel that powers it. And that's again. So let's talk a little bit more about this because you've kind of alluded to it. So we're starting to break down this digital mortgage, if you will. And Black Knight is really doing, again, you've kind of alluded to some of these things. Black Knight is really doing some unique things within that space to support what we're talking about. So what does Black Knight in particular do when it comes to supporting that digital mortgage?
Great question. So, I think, again, the first one is the consumer engagement channel, right? So creating many different ways to communicate with that borrower, right?
Of
And really
course.
to meet their needs, right? Because again, not every borrower is created equally. I think the
No.
other kind of thing about digital mortgage, it's not just about, the up and coming generation, right?
No.
I'm not a grandpa yet or grandma yet, but um, I do have older children, right? I have bought, a number of houses. I'm good at mortgage, right? But I still love taking advantage of the technology, right? I want to interact via text, and I don't want to have to get on the phone and call somebody. I don't want to have to go email somebody, right? I want to take a picture of a document and upload it. I don't want to have to go find my printer and scan something. I don't even know if I know how to make that work anymore, to be honest. I have to go get one of my kids to do it for me because it's old technology, right? So how do we take advantage of what our customers have with them all the time to make this easier for them when and where they want it, right? And that's the other thing, right? It's about timing. I want to engage the customer when they're ready to engage, right? So think
Ooh.
about how the mortgage process typically used to work. You'd make an application, it'd go to some review, then they'd reach out and they'd want some documents. And now maybe you were busy now, you're off in a meeting, or you were traveling, or you were doing something else, and you don't have those documents with you. So now you have to say, hold on, let me wait till I get home, and I'll have to download my bank statements, and I can upload my bank statements to you. And it was a long process because there were so many start, stop, back and forth, back and forth. What we're trying to do at Black Knight is move all of that up into that customer engagement channel when the customer's engaging, right? So if I submit a document, I'm going to review it right now because I have a machine learning. We call her Ava, right? She's got a personality, and she reads the document. Is it the right document? Is it a picture of your cat, or is it truly, your banking statement, right? What is it? Is it not just, is it the right document? What document is it? Is it, if it's a bank statement, did you upload 2 of June when I really needed June and July, right? Is it signed, right? So we're looking at critical data so that right then, when you upload that, I'm reviewing it, making sure it's the right document. It's what I need. It's what I was expecting. And if not, I'm sending you a notification in your app right then and saying, hey, Shelley, you uploaded a picture of your cat. It's really cute, but I really need your June bank statement. So can you please upload that? Now I'm still engaged. I haven't left. I haven't gone off to go to dinner, right? I haven't gone into a meeting. I'm still engaged right then. So there's no lag in that process. That keeps your customer engaged. So anything we can do to move any of the processes forward is critical to getting to digital mortgage. The second thing I think about is mortgage has typically been a very exception-based process, right?
That's true.
We go through a process, we create exception, it goes into a queue for somebody to call or look at or evaluate and then reach back out to resolve. Well, if we know the rules around resolving exceptions, let's move the rules up front so we can do it immediately so we don't create exceptions. So I'm not about resolving exceptions, I'm about eliminating exceptions, right? So we talk about lights out processing. Why does a loan processor need to tell me order title or order an appraisal or order a flood cert? We do it every time, right? It's a trigger. It's a data trigger. You're a certain point in the process, or we back off from a closing date to know 10 days before. We always need to do this. And those triggers can change, but they can be automated and they can happen in the background so that someone's not having to think about and potentially miss a step or be delayed on a step, right?
We're humans. We miss things, right?
We do, because we're busy and we've got lots going on, and there's construction, and now there's kids, and there's dogs, and because you're working from home, and there's lots of distractions, right? So how can we use technology to make sure that we're not missing things? And that also helps us be compliant, right? Because again, when I talk about transformation and I talk about doing things digitally, I'm not talking about going around the system. The controls are in place for good reason, right? And we still have to be a compliant lender in everything that we do. But technology can help us be compliant too, while helping us automate transactions.
I love that. Now, I want to kind of dive into this a little bit more because you mentioned that human experience. We're talking about digital. We're talking about machine learning. We're talking about all these things. And sometimes, again, because we mentioned this earlier, sometimes in our industry, we get this fixed mindset of like, oh, well, wait a minute, AI, machine learning, it's going to replace us. But no, machine learning, this digital mortgage experience is not going to replace us as human beings, right, Shelley?
That's absolutely right. We're not all going to be replaced by robots, just so you know. And there's no robots really involved in the machine learning. So we like to call them names because it makes it a little more personal. But the reality of it is there are things that we can automate that, again, I'll call lower value things that machines can do for us so that we, the intelligent human beings that we are, can focus on the harder things, right? Like having an interaction with a customer, helping a customer make a hard decision, getting to know somebody, becoming a trusted advisor. You're not going to be a trusted advisor with a robot.
Bingo.
Right? I mean, again, and I love chat and I take advantage of all those things. I don't really like the automated chats because I like to chat with people.
Yeah.
But automated chats help me if it's late at night and maybe no one's awake on the other end and I can get what I need and move on. That's great. But ultimately, mortgage is still about a people transaction.
Exactly.
Right?
Machines can't be taught.
Connection.
Yeah, as you say, they can have that connection. They can have that empathy. As we all know, part of that home buying experience, again, it can be overwhelming. It can be, especially for first-time home buyers going through that process for the very first time. They don't know what to expect. They've heard rumors from their parents about how taxing and how difficult it can be. So having that empathy, having that understanding, machines will never understand that. We as human beings have that. So that's why I love this marriage, if you will, between technology is there as a resource, is there as a tool. And again, that's why Black Knight with this innovation, these discussions that we're having, these collaborations that are all coming together is so powerful now more than ever, because again, the future generations, they are technologically savvy. They are looking for a more seamless experience. And that's exactly what Black Knight is doing. Now, I want to kind of correlate that with all that happened in 2020. How has what's gone on within, the COVID pandemic, with everything that's gone on, how has that really push along or really start to move the needle when it comes to digital mortgage?
So again, I'm a glass half full girl, if you haven't noticed.
Yes.
But so I see a silver lining with everything. And again, my prayers go out to everyone who was negatively impacted by COVID. I think we all were or know someone who was. And so, but there is a silver lining here from our industry perspective, right? Which is it forced us through what one of my colleagues refers to as a one-way door, right? We went through the one-way door with digital. There's no going back. You can't take that away from them, right? We had to have it because we all very quickly moved to remote, right? A lot of us are now working from home. A lot of people were quarantined, right? Locked down. They couldn't go to their bank and make a payment. Mortgage companies were overwhelmed with calls, right? Their call centers had long wait times, right? A lot of them had to adapt and adjust very quickly, which they did very well in doing that. But they needed to give more access to more information to their customers digitally in order for us all to survive and for those customers to know that there was someone on the other end, especially, as we went through forbearance, right? And we put into things a lot of place to make sure we kept people in their homes, which was really critical, but we didn't want to make it hard for them to do that, right? We wanted to automate that, right? So in our digital channel, within a week, we created and turned on the capability for them to request a forbearance. It get processed all the way back through the servicing system for them to say, don't worry, we got you. You don't have to make a payment this month. It's good, right? We put ability for lenders and brokers and originators and servicers to communicate with their borrowers. Hey, we got you. We know what's going on. We're here for you. Call us if you need us. But we're going to provide you all these educational resources and digital resources. So I would say before 2020, there were some front runners, right? And everybody knows who they are in the industry from a digital perspective, right? Go on TV, they'll tell you, right? But there was a little bit of a drag, right? And there was some people that we were bringing into the digital age kicking and screaming, right?
Yep,
and
absolutely.
Now COVID created a no excuse. There's no one who's not saying they need a digital footprint. There's no one in the mortgage industry who's not saying digital is important. Now, everyone is saying it's table stakes. I have to have digital in order for me to be a go forward business and serve the needs of my customers. I have to be digital. So there's no going back. So again, I'm also, obviously, as you can tell, very passionate about it. So now I'm like, okay, go, right? We got it where we want them, right? Go, go, go. Let's put as many innovations as we can. Our CEO talks about innovation, integration, and urgency. And if 2020 ever proved the need for those three things, that was it. So again, now we're just pushing as fast as we can because we've got their attention and we don't want to let go of it because this isn't going away. Customer experience expectations have changed and we have to change.
I love that you talk about getting their attention. I mean, Shred, being an attention impact network, we're all about getting attention. Now, once you get somebody's attention, you have to make sure you have to make sure you're impacting their life. How are you changing? How are you bringing value to their life?
Right.
And I love what Randy Vire says here. A digital mortgage is future because most of the borrowers are looking to get a mortgage to their convenience with more transparency in their transactions. Great comment there, Randy. And with that, what is it? What can we expect? What is the future of digital mortgage, Shelley? Because again, we're having these great conversations. This last year has pushed innovation. It has pushed new thinking, which I am so excited for. I know you're passionate about. I know you're excited for. So what can we expect? What are the next steps? What are we going to see with the digital mortgage experience?
So here's what I want to say. Let's don't make it about the digital mortgage experience.
Okay.
Let's make it about the digital home ownership experience.
I love that. Love it.
So
Okay.
people aren't saying, hey, I'm going to go out today and get a mortgage. That's not what they're saying. They're saying, hey, I need to buy a home, or hey, I want to buy a new home.
Of course.
That's what consumers are focused on, right? We as mortgage lenders, we're focused on getting the mortgage, right? And it's absolutely a necessity of the process. Don't get me wrong. But now, how can we help people better save, right? And financially plan in order to get a mortgage, right? So before they're even buying, how can we make sure that they have all the tools, again, to select a home, make an offer on a home electronically, not have a lot of the disparate handoffs. And then once you have that home, how can we help them digitally maintain their home, right? How can we help them stay engaged with their mortgage lender so that they're there as that trusted resource? Because now we're not just about the mortgage, we care about your home. Hey, Josh, did you know, based on your appraisal, your roof is about 9 years old. You should probably start saving for a new roof, right? Maybe we know that about you because we have that data, right? Oh, hey, just friendly reminder from your mortgage lender. Maybe you should, it's monthly. It's time to change your air filters. We'd like you to change your air filters, right? How can we help you own your home better, right? Because that's the thing that you're worried about. And then we're there for you, right? How can we help you pay off early? Again, that's churn. We don't want to create churn in our mortgage portfolio. Here's the reality, folks. They're going to do it anyway, with or without your help. So it's your job to help them, right? Give them tools. How can they benefit from paying down a large portion of their mortgage because they got a big tax return or a big bonus, right? Because they did a great job and they made a big sale. What benefit could that add to them? Ooh, maybe we could tell them their home value when they come into your site, right? And you could tell them why that matters to them. Your home's increasing, right? Your home value is increasing. What does that mean to you? It means more equity. So what? What can you do with that equity? So many things, right? You can save. You can use it to trade up to a new home. You can use it to pay down. You can use all kinds of things with this equity, right? Why is that important to you? The home is, again, one piece of their financial picture. And we have to think about it that way, right? And so there's so many things that we can do to help them with all the other things that surround the mortgage. Home insurance, right? It's a part of the process, right? Escrow is confusing. But you have to have insurance. You have to, right? So how can we help them make sure they're getting the right insurance? How much do they need? I don't know. How much do they should be paying? I don't know. We can help them that. There's digital insurance marketplaces that can help them tell them that. We can bring that into your ecosystem from a mortgage lender perspective and make sure you're staying engaged with your customers because they want to engage with you, not just when they have a problem, not just when they want to do a transaction, but for good, right? Not just for bad.
This is what I love. This conversation in particular, Shelley, is what, again, gets me excited for the future. It gets me excited to be able to have these discussions with companies like Black Knight because, and I know we're going to clip this part of it, but the digital homeowner experience, that digital homeowner journey, the digital mortgage, nobody wants a mortgage. We've talked about literally, there's not a single person on the earth who's like, I can't wait to have hundreds of thousands of dollars on a piece of paper and I have to pay it off over 30 years. It's going to be amazing. No, that's just not, like, nobody wants that. That would be crazy. So this home, that's what everybody wants. People want that homeowner experience and bringing those pieces together. I talk about all the time creating value, long-term value. It's not just about, hey, Shelley, I'm going to get you the best rate on your mortgage. Rates are a thing of the past. Rates are sure, they're important, but there's so much more value long-term. And that's why these technologies, that's why these conversations, that's why these things coming to play, these tools, these resources, ladies and gentlemen, are at your disposal. This isn't just like, hey, hopefully in a couple of years we can get there.
This is now.
This is the here and now. And that's what's exciting. Again, when I started my career, 10 plus years ago, this was just like, we're still so far in the past. We've made so many leaps and bounds, but now today, this digital homeowner experience is right at our fingertips. And it's such an exciting time. I am so enthused and excited about it because even the next couple of years, this digital experience that we're giving to consumers.
Leaps and bounds.
And all you originators out there, it's exciting. And now more than ever, that's why we're having these discussions. That's why we're having incredible people like Shelley and Black Knight on to make sure that you're aware. Some people, Shelley, to this day, again, some people are still like, wait a minute, this is now? This is going on? Are you serious? A couple of comments here. Well said, Shelley. Digital homeowner experience matters. Driving value, differentiating capabilities, and superior experiences. Right. So many possibilities within ecosystems. Michael Kelleher, if I have fatigue of all fintech companies like Digit, all these in my credit card, how will my mortgage company tell me I need a new roof? Shelley, that comment in itself, that is cool. The fact that we have that data, that we have that technology these days, that is exciting to me. And last comment right here, Randy Vyers, the mortgage industry is adapting to new tech that is allowing the loan officer lender to provide the most significant elements of digital mortgage. Black Knight is leading the charge. Shred and Black Knight. Thank you, Randy. Awesome. Shelley, as we start to wrap things up, again, this has been such an insightful, such a cool discussion on this. And what's exciting to me, Shelley, we're just scratching the surface. We are just beginning to have these discussions. But again, you can tell you're one of those people that I love having these conversations. You are passionate. You understand the future of this industry. And it's something you mentioned at the very beginning of this. It's starting to adapt the mindset of like, how do we bring a new generation in? All you experienced pros out there, you veterans, we love you. You've been in here.
Teach the new guys, right?
We need you to. We need you to start looking at this. We need you to start expanding that mindset and having these discussions. So, ladies and gentlemen, huge shout out to Shelley, Leonard, and Black Knight team for joining us on this discussion. And again, this is just the beginning. We're going to continue to go down these roads. We're going to continue to have these discussions, talking about collaboration, discussing the home owner experience, home ownership experience.
Thank you so much.
No longer the digital mortgage experience, ladies and gentlemen. Shelley, you are amazing. Thank you so much for your energy, your enthusiasm that you brought to the show. It's not very often that I have to, when somebody comes on, that I have to step up my energy. That just makes it a lot of fun. So
drink some more coffee.
I'm getting my rock star. We're ready to go. Ladies and gentlemen, huge shout out to Shelley, Leonard, and again, Black Knight for joining us on the show. Shelley, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, as always, we appreciate you. We love you. And now it's time for all of you to go shred, go show up, hustle, repeat every day. Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you again so much for joining us for today's show. If you like the content, make sure you hit that like button below. And if you already haven't subscribed to our channel, click right over here and you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you want to see our latest video, click over here. And again, if you want to see the best of daily content within the mortgage and real estate industries, you have to subscribe now. We look forward to having you shred with us every single day.